What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's podcast with me and Josh. We will be previewing the Week 8 slate of games, of course, not including the game that happened last night because we couldn't quite get our shit together in time. But we are here to talk about the rest of them.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, oh, yeah, you like to go by this thing.
Yeah, we'll just start with Bengals-Jets.
Bengals-Jets. So this one, the fascinating part about the Bengals-Jets game to me is the fact that I believe the Bengals are only 10.5-point favorites. And I say only because I just feel like with what we saw last week, a New England Patriots team beat the Jets 54-13 with Mike White starting at quarterback, and Mike White will be starting again at quarterback. And, I think since he's coming off a game where they just blew out Baltimore by the final score total at least. And, yeah, so, 10.5 seems to me like a value. I understand that it's a classic trap game spot, but we've seen the Bengals in classic trap game spots twice this year, one of which almost got them. That was the Jaguar game where the Jags took a 14-0 lead. The other one was the Lions game when the Lions had absolutely no chance. So it's interesting. Could the Jets come out and make this a close game? I don't think so.
No, I think one, the Jets defense against the pass is ranked 25th in the league, so they could be in for a long day.
Burrow's playing really well,
yeah,
too.
Especially with Jamar Chase. I think he's just going to kind of bully them, as they say.
Yeah.
So I know it's – but then again, we don't – you never know in the NFL. But obviously the Bengals are a much stronger team, and we expect him to blow –
yeah, I'm thinking
the hell
I think
out.
It's going to be something like 28-3 or something like that, to be honest. I don't know. I'm in a suicide pool league with my uncle, and I've just decided I'm going to be taking the Bengals this week. So there's that.
Well, I'm definitely What would you say the spread was?
It was 10.5.
I'm taking it.
Yeah, I like the Bengals minus 10.5 all day long.
Yeah.
I think worst case scenario, they win like 28-14 or something like that. So I wouldn't say 28-3, but 28-6, 28-7 is possible too. 28-14 is kind of the best possible scenario for Jets fans.
This could really, I know last week with Jamar Chase, it was pretty much a blow-up game for him.
Mm-hmm. Again.
I think he has a chance to do it again.
I kind of think this is going to be a T. Higgins week, but definitely Chase has a chance to.
Yeah. But also Joe Mixon, he has a chance to kind of blow up here too.
Well, that's the strong part about the Jets defense, right? Their front. So, does Joe Mixon have a chance to go off? Sure, but I think it'll be another 3-touchdown pass game for Burrow. And I think they're going to try and just spread them out and kind of have a quick pass game for the most part with some deep shots off play action implemented in there as well. Definitely going to run it because they are a team that likes to remain balanced, as we've always seen Sean McVay do, and now we've seen Zach Taylor try and do that actually, for the most part in Cincinnati as well. So yeah, I think we both like the Bengals in that one.
Yeah, I think it's funny how long is Zach Wilson going to be out? Do you know?
I think it's like 3 or 4 games.
Okay. Well, I know they went and traded for Joe Flacco, and he's not even starting in this one. So it's like they traded him for 2 weeks?
Yeah, no, because Flacco's not going to officially become a member of the Jets until today.
Right.
So to have him come in and just immediately start would be...
But, he's a veteran.
But he's never had this system before.
You just say,
know the playbook
here's a slant, here's a drag,
right.
Here's an out, and here's an in.
I don't know if it's quite that easy.
Right.
I think there's a little bit more to it. But, yeah. So, let's move on. We both like the Bengals. I think that's...
Yes, 100%. Taking the Bengals all day on the road. They're going to embarrass the Jets.
But,
fortunate for Jets fans. But
it is a weird thing, I think, back to your point about them trading for Flacco, just because, why? Let Mike White go out there and maybe develop himself and turn into a decent backup.
It's not like
give him
Joe Flacco's going to just turn the team around.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And what do you have to lose considering, you're definitely not making the playoffs this year.
Right.
You know what
Absolutely
I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know.
I think they were out of the playoffs after week 1, but
I think this coaching staff is sitting there thinking, if we go without a win the rest of the way, are we going to be one and done here? Because
this is they've only had 2 home games this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is their third. They're 1-1 at home.
They're going to get spanked. All right. Titans, Colts. I've already said my position on this last week, and my point remains the same. Let me tell you some reasons why I like the Colts. Where are my notes at here? Okay. So it's a rematch game, right? These teams played in week 3 in Tennessee. Titans won that game 25-16. By the way, the Colts are 2.5-point favorites in this game. Favorites over the Tennessee Titans, a team that just beat the Bills and the Chiefs. So keep that in mind. Anyways, so like I said, they've already played once this year in which the Titans won. That game was in Tennessee. This one's in Indy. That was in the first game, they combined for 41 points. The over-under in this one is 51. 51. I was pretty shocked about that. I feel like that's a little high, but I could totally see it hitting. I mean, Tennessee averages about 28 points a game, so I understand from that standpoint. Ryan Tannehill, last 4 games, has thrown just 3 touchdown passes. I think that's not spectacular. Obviously, both these teams.
It's not, but you also have to remember they're, just hand it off to Derrick Henry. He does his thing.
I was just about to say, both of these teams are their running back. Their star running back is really the main focal point of their offense, and right. I love that personally. Carson Wentz hasn't thrown an interception in his last 170 pass attempts, and he's only thrown 1 all year.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of always been an efficient guy.
The one concern, well, sort of. I mean, except for that last year in Philly,
right?
The one concern I have for Indy, I mean, not the one, but I should say the most concerning thing, since I've already committed to picking the Colts in this game as of last week, is that the Indianapolis pass protection has not been great. Last week, the Titans' edge rushers were a real big factor. Landry was, Bud Dupree finally had a big game. They were able to sack Patrick Mahomes a season-high 4 times. And I'm worried about that particular match. Like, how are the Colts going to protect Carson Wentz on the edges? We all know Quentin Nelson will be Quentin Nelson, and he'll definitely allow for a place for Wentz to step up. But I do worry a little bit about that, from that standpoint. And I think on the defensive side for Indianapolis, they have been, aside from their collapse in Baltimore where they allowed 31 points in that comeback win for the Ravens, over their last 4 games, they've only allowed 15.8 points per game. Again, excluding that Ravens game. So the defense has been pretty good. Tannehill hasn't been very good. The Colts are kind of trending in the right direction, in my opinion, whereas the Titans are obviously on a high right now. This could be an ultimate letdown spot for them, in my opinion, where it's just like, hey, we just beat 2 great teams. We're going to cruise in there and beat this team just like we did earlier this year. And then, boom, all of a sudden you lose. But I was actually pretty surprised that Vegas agrees with me, and they made the Colts the favorites in this game as well, because the Titans are 5-2.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah.
They are predicting the Colts to win this game, which is absolutely incredible, like you said. I mean, the Titans are 5-2, 2-1 on the road. I mean, this is going to be a lot closer than what Vegas is predicting.
What do you mean? They're saying it's 2.5-point spread.
Right.
About 2.5.
But I mean, when I mean that, I mean, I think they got the pick wrong. I think that.
Yeah. I thought the Titans would be favorites for sure as well. I thought that I'd be picking an underdog here, but
right.
Let me spit out something about my guy Jonathan Taylor. He has over the last 4 games, he's averaging over 138 yards, or almost 138 yards from scrimmage. He's the fantasy RB2 in that time to Derrick Henry, who, aside from last week and then week 1, where he was kind of held in check in terms of yards per carry and all that stuff, he's averaged 168 yards per game and 10 touchdowns over the previous 5 games. So he's
like 100 yards away from 1,000 yards in the season with like 10 or 30 games to go at this point.
He's having a historically great season again. And this time it's like, this is almost like what he did at Alabama in his last year. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's on pace to become the league's first ever back-to-back 2,000-yard rusher.
Wow. What a player.
Yep.
So who do you like in this one? You say you like the Titans, right?
Yeah, I'm taking the Titans. I guess it's an upset according to Vegas. But, yeah, I'm taking the Titans in this one. Obviously, the spread's at 2.5, so I'm saying like 27-24.
Wow. I just had that thought pop in my head, 27-24, because the reason I was thinking about that is that would be a push on the over-under. So Vegas is probably thinking that exact same thing, except for they like the Colts in that way. I'll take the Colts to win at 24-21. I like Indy, man. I think they're getting things going. I think they'll be the more desperate team, the more hungry team at this point in the season, just because, again, the Titans just came off wins over the Bills and Chiefs. Like, it's hard not to be feeling yourself a little too much, and when you're feeling yourself a little too much in this league, things tend to get humbling. So yeah, I'll take the Colts, like I said just last week as well.
Taking the Titans.
All right, let's go to Rams at Texans. I think
Rams.
You said Texans.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. So the Rams are 14.5-point favorites, which to me feels awfully cheap. Like, I think 14.5 is a steal. I mean, like, I think that, let's put it like this, 31-14 is kind of, in my opinion, the closest this game would be.
Right.
I think we could have, just looking at this slate, a similar week to last week in some ways, where it's quite a few, blowouts. I think that's definitely possible.
Well, this is definitely going to be one of them.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't
Aaron
think we need
Donald's
to
going to mash on Davis Mills. Or is Tyrod? I think.
No, Davis Mills is starting. It was
Okay.
just announced. But Tyrod will be back soon, and that's good because in games with Davis Mills starting, the Texans have had point totals of 9, 0, 22, 3, and 5. That's 7.8 points per game.
It's not good.
That's not normal. Like, that's Josh Rosen-esque, and Rosen was a top 10 pick. Mills was at least a third rounder. So I think Davis Mills, we all knew he had to have time to become, the player that he might be able to eventually become. But this rookie season has been absolutely abusing him. So that's not good. But Houston has also allowed 30 points per game over their last 5, at least a little bit more than 30 points a game over the last 5. Stafford and company have been scoring. I think they're the third highest scoring team in the NFL, like 20. I think it's 28 a game or something like that. So it's just, I don't think we need to get too deep into this. It's going to be a bad day at the office again for Texans fans, unfortunately. I'll take for a final score, I'll take the Rams 34-14. 34-14.
I'm going 38-10.
Okay. And
I
both
don't.
of us
them getting 2 touchdowns is ambitious.
Yeah, I know it is.
I
almost want to change that, but you're right. Anyways, that would both
maybe 38-13.
What do you think
about
a
couple field goals?
Yeah. I could also see this game going under. The over-under in this one's 47.5, and that's so crazy to have an over-under that's relatively high with a team in Houston that's averaging not even 8 points a game over the last 5. You know what I mean? So It's like if Houston gets their season average, that would mean the Rams have to score 40 or 39 to make the over-under. 40. So, anyways, we both like the Rams. We like the Rams big. Let's keep it at that. Steelers at Browns. I'm actually kind of pumped for this game. Baker is playing.
Okay. Baker is playing, so that definitely changes the whole dynamic of the game. This is going to be a close one. Obviously, the Browns are a lot better than they have been in years past, and the Steelers are up and down at this point. They're a good one week.
Well, they've been good 2 weeks in a row. Then they had their bye week last week. But when I say good, they barely beat Geno Smith and the Seahawks.
Yeah,
good.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, they're just like skimming by, like Packers are.
They also beat the Bills in Buffalo in week 1.
They did, but that was an anomaly, seems like.
Right. Cleveland in this game is a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under, pretty low, 42.5. So what has Pittsburgh done lately? Well, Ben Roethlisberger, in the last 2 games, completing almost 68% of his passes, averaging 241 a game in terms of yards, 7.4 yards per pass attempt, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he's only been sacked 1 every 32.5 pass attempts, which is a phenomenal ratio there for him in that regard. But the first problem I see potentially for Pitt is that I think that they are going to have their hands full stopping the run because if Chubb's playing, you got to assume if he's not 100%, he's at least going to be healthy enough to do some damage. And the last game Pittsburgh played in, they allowed 141 rushing yards to Seattle. This Browns rushing attack, with just what they do, their system, their offensive line, their running backs is a whole lot more difficult to deal with than Alex Collins and the Seahawks. So I think that might be an issue for the Steelers. But the Steelers are 12th on the season defending the run. So they're not a bad team, overall in terms of what they allow from a yardage standpoint, but they do also allow 4.9 yards per carry over their last 3 games, which is the 6th most in the NFL. So I think that part of it is obviously going to be first and foremost, can you stop the Browns on the ground? Because if you can't, you're in big trouble, because that's when their play action pass really gets going. That's when Baker is not under pressure. And Baker, when he's not under pressure, is a very, very, very good quarterback. So accurate. And he's, if you can't make him uncomfortable, when you do make him uncomfortable, it's because you do a decent job against the run, and then you are able to actually rush the passer. That's when Baker can get a little shoddy at times. But,
well, they've been struggling at stopping the run in recent games, the Steelers. So
yeah,
this could, with Baker also being hurt, this could just be a ground pound game with Nick Chubb and De'Aaron Johnson.
Yeah,
I mean, I see them getting over 30 carries, not each, but
right
for the whole game.
Yeah,
I think they're just going to ground a pound.
I think so too. That's what I think. But Pitt is, on paper, personnel-wise, they should be able to stop the run. They just, like you said, they've been struggling in recent weeks against the run. So we'll see.
They also have a couple injuries on their front line, so that doesn't help. But
yeah, that's going to be important. And then when you look at Cleveland on the other side of it, Naji Harris has been running the ball well. He's averaging just slightly over 100 yards a game over his last 2 games on the ground. And then Cleveland is the second best run defense from a yards per carry standpoint. They're allowing just 3.5 yards per attempt on the ground. And so I think that, that Najee is going to have his work cut out for him. I hope they're consistent with giving him the damn ball, because the only 2 games they've given Naji Harris 20 or more carries are the last 2, and they've won both, right? So that's 2 of their 3 wins. So I think that's an important part of this. Who do you like to win it? It's in Cleveland.
I'm taking the Browns.
Taking the Browns?
Mm-hmm. I think they're going to ground and pound.
Ground and brown?
Yeah.
I feel you. I think I'm going to take the Steelers in an upset, man.
Wow. Okay.
I think they won 2 in a row. They got a bye week. That should help them say, hey, this is what we can do better. This is what we can, improve upon,
make
or
some
whatever.
Adjustments.
And I think they're going to go in there and steal it, because the Browns have beat the Steelers 2 games in a row. If you go back to last year to week 17, and then they beat the crap out of them in the playoffs, I think the Steelers are going to come in here extra hungry, and they've had a week extra to prepare for the Browns. Also worth noting, the Browns were able to they had kind of the mini bye because they played on Thursday night last week, so it's a little bit more fair in terms of like time to game plan. The Steelers got a couple extra days, but I think that Pittsburgh's going to be really hungry in this game. I like them to go out there and steal it 20-17 Pittsburgh.
I'm going 28-21 Browns.
Okay. So you like it to go over. I like the under. I seem to always go towards the under, and I don't really know why. Anyways, Eagles at Lions. Game of the week?
Yeah. Let me tell you.
Oh, man. Eagles-Lions, let's see what the spread is. Okay, Philly is a 3.5-point road favorite. Over-under in this one to me, is outrageously enough, 48. The over-under is 48. And this is let me just spit out some shit here, because I got something on this game, okay? The Eagles average almost 23 points a game. The Lions average about 18, okay? If they both hit their average, we're looking at a 40-point over-under, not a 48, right? But over the last, let me see, where is it? I have this. Lions point totals over the last 6 games, 6 straight games, 17, 17, 14, 17, 11, 19. They have not reached 20 points in 6 consecutive games. The Eagles' point totals over the last 3 games, 21, 22, 22. And you mean to tell me that the over-under in this one is 48? I think that's a little bit ambitious. Who scored? Plus, both of these defenses are actually pretty decent. You know what I mean? And then when you look at what Jalen Hurts has done lately, 4 weeks ago, he had the best game of his career, 32 of 48 against the Chiefs, threw for 387, 8.1 yards an attempt, 2 touchdowns, no picks. In the 3 games since then, he's completed 53.6% of his passes, averaging 183 yards a game, 5.7 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's been sacked 1 every 16 pass attempts. So he does have 4 rushing touchdowns in that time. But like when you look at it, it doesn't seem to be a game that I see as a high-scoring shootout. I see this as a nice defensive slugfest, and I see the Lions competing their asses off to the very end. Maybe even this is the spot for their first win. Should I pick them? I don't know. Who do you like? What do you like in this game? What parts of this game do you like?
Well, they're both ugly teams on paper.
Yeah.
They're both struggling. The Eagles, obviously, I think more so in the passing game. So the Lions could potentially go out there. It is at home, so they're going to have their crowd on their side. I think this could be, like you said, this could be a spot where they get their first win of the season. Obviously, I do like the Eagles in this one, but I'm going to throw a little curveball.
You going with the Lions?
I'm going the Lions.
Wow. You know what? I'm also going with the fucking Lions.
I mean, it's on Halloween, so it could get pretty scary for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, man,
if they can contain Jalen Hurts, I think they have a chance. And obviously, this could be a game where Jalen Hurts has over 100 rushing yards.
that's possible.
Yeah. And I truly believe that. And, if that happens, the Lions will, it'll be a long day. But if they, like I said, if they can contain Jalen Hurts, keep this game close, give Jared Goff an opportunity to go out there and win the game for him. I mean, this is basically a coin flip, but I'm going to take the upset. I'm going to go Lions. I think they get their first W of the season.
I'm taking the Lions as well. And when you look at this, to your point about them trying to contain Jalen Hurts, when they played against the Ravens a few weeks ago, Lamar Jackson ran the ball 7 times for 58 yards. So they weren't, Lamar can do a lot worse than that to you, but that's it's still it's over 8 yards a carry, almost 8.5. So from that standpoint, that's obviously a concern with Hurts. He's not quite as quick and explosive as Lamar, but he's still a good runner. I think that if they can keep Hurts in the pocket, I think that the Lions could win this game comfortably. And when I say comfortably, I mean 24-14, something like that. I really do. I think that their defense has been pretty good lately. Like, the Rams scored 28 points against them last week, but it was not easy for the Rams to get there. Like, everything was contested and difficult. And I just think that the Lions players and coaching staff have been wanting a win so damn bad. I just think it's coming this week. I really do. I think that they're going to come out there. They're looking at the Eagles like, hey, you're not much better than us, right? What are they, 2-4?
2-5.
2-5, see? So they're 2 games better than the Lions, but they're not much better, right? No. And I don't know, man, if both of these teams play, if the Lions play to the best of their ability, and Philly just plays how they've been playing recently, I think the Lions win the game. And so I think the Lions are going to steal this. I think it's going to be 23-20. Yeah. And that's the under.
DeAndre Swift he's
awesome.
Good, man. So this could potentially be another huge game for him. Mm-hmm. He had a season high 144 yards of offense last week. He's averaging 93 yards per game this season. And obviously, like I said, the Eagles are struggling. So this could be a spot where DeAndre Swift goes nuts. And when I mean nuts, like 3 touchdown nuts.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I have him on, I think, 2 of my rosters, and I love having him.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be a star here. I mean,
he's close to that now.
He is. So, yeah, I like the Lions in this one. I think they get their first W. I don't really know what the score might be. Maybe like 28-27.
Okay. So you like
Lions.
A lot more high scoring than I do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm predicting DeAndre Swift to have 3 touchdowns, that's 21 points right there. So
okay. All right. Let's go to 49ers Bears. 49ers at the Bears. So I got good news and bad news for the Bear fans. Well, this is on paper a much easier matchup than Tampa, right? In Tampa, you're back in Chicago, all that kind of stuff. However, the bad news, by the way, the Niners in this game are 4-point favorites. The over-under is 40. So Vegas has, no real respect for either offense in this game. And I don't disagree with them right now. Kyle Shanahan's, like I said, he's had a rough year. The Niners' defense, however, has been a pretty good unit. They're allowing just 6.3 yards per pass attempt, which is the sixth best mark in the NFL. And by the way, Chicago is allowing just 6.9 yards an attempt, so they're both under 7. And I think that that's going to make this for a real test for Justin Fields. I think that the Niners are going to be able to get after Fields. I really do, and I think that that's going to give him some real issues. And at this point, guys, if Fields has a bunch more, or at least like 2 or 3 more of these games where he just turned, like last week, turned the ball over 5 times, if he has a few more of these games, it's going to get to the point where, and I really feel comfortable saying that I know ownership has stepped in there and made the decision that, Nagy, you're going to start Fields. Mm-hmm. But I'm starting to think, like, is it probably, or at least possibly going to be, hey, let's let Fields sit down a few games and not take a beating because right now.
Yeah, but if they bench him at this point, then
the Dolphins did it with Tua. Tua's played well the last 2 weeks. Here's the thing: if he's getting his ass just beat to shit every week, you have to do something. You can't just keep trotting him out there.
Right, but I don't think that a spot with the 49ers at home is going to be one of those times where Justin Fields is getting whacked.
The Niners' defense is better than people think. It's just that their offense hasn't been good at all. Look, they did some real damage to Carson Wentz last week. Look at their, on the season, other than Aaron Rodgers, I don't remember a team having an easy day at the office scoring points against San Francisco. I'm going to try and check out their defense right now. Maybe I'm nuts, but Detroit scored points on them, but they were dominant for the most part of that game. I think Detroit got some late points. They held Philly to 11 points in Philadelphia. Like I said, the Packers did their thing. The Seahawks were really struggling for the first half and a quarter of that game, and they finally came on strong towards the end. But that's Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett.
Right.
That is not the Chicago Bears. Again, and they held Arizona to just 17 points. That was before their bye week 2 weeks ago. And then Indy scored 30 last week, but they scored that late touchdown off the interception, put them in good position. So, to me, I think this San Francisco defense is going to give Justin Fields another rough day, man. I don't think it's going to be easy.
No, I don't think so. Obviously, Justin Fields is still young, still learning how to be a professional in the NFL. But yeah, this could be a bounce back game for him. He really needs it at this point.
That would be I'd be so happy for him.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
But yeah, I like the Niners in this one. I think Eli Mitchell is gonna have a big game. So if you have him in fantasy, you're starting him.
Yep.
But yeah.
And so the over under in this one is 40. What do you like to score? San Francisco's a 4-point road favorite. Over under 40. What are you thinking for the final score?
I'm thinking over.
Okay. I don't think there's. I'll say what I've said about. Go. I'll say mine after.
I think it's barely gonna push the over. 23-20.
Okay. I don't think the Bears are gonna crack. I don't think they're gonna exceed 17 points.
Right.
I've said that the last 2 weeks in a row, and I've been correct both
Depending
times.
on how Justin Fields plays.
Well, of course. That's what we're. That's the whole point of this. Prediction here is I cannot say from what I've seen lately that Justin Fields is going to have a good game.
Right. You're not confident he's going to go out there and just put a beat down on the 49ers.
Definitely not. I'm much more confident in what I've seen from the Niners defense for the most part of this season. So
yeah.
I'm going to take the Niners to win this game. I'm going to take them to win it 24-17 because I don't think the Bears will score more than 17 points. I'm sorry, Chicago fans. But hey, I don't think it would be a bad move right now for Chicago to bench Justin Fields for a couple games just to stop the bleeding for a second. Stop the bleeding. Let him watch Andy Dalton, who, and I know Andy's not glamorous, but Andy's a professional. You know what I mean? He's a veteran in this game. Let him watch Andy for a couple games. Let him see hey, this is what you were doing in this situation. Did you see how Andy handled that, right? Those are the types of things I think are going to help him make sure that he knows he's still the guy. And look, at the end of the day, if he is the guy, then he won't get mentally beat down from a benching. All right, let's talk about the Panthers at the Falcons. Spread in this one, Falcons are 3-point home favorites. Over-under is 46.5 in this game.
Who are they starting at QB?
Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Yeah, he immediately said Sam's the quarterback. He was just looking for a spark there. Look, let me tell you some things I've got on this. The Panthers are averaging 16.3 points per game over their last 3 games. 16. Okay, Sam Darnold, in that time, has completed 52% of his passes, 4.8 yards per pass attempt, 165 yards a game, 2 touchdown passes to 5 interceptions in his last 3 games. Falcons, on the other hand, have won 3 of 4. And in that time, Matt Ryan has completed 67.5% of his passes, 301 yards per game, 7.4 yards an attempt, 10 touchdowns to just 1 interception. So he's been playing really well. And by the way, Matt Ryan, and this is over a 4-game stretch now, has only been sacked one every 32.6 pass attempts. That's a fucking great ratio.
Yeah.
So they're doing a good job protecting him. They actually, the far majority of the Falcons' offense comes from Matt Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like 27th in rush yards per game.
Right.
So
they've always been a pass-heavy offense.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Like, as a Panther fan, it's tough for me to sit here and tell you that I think that they're going to bust out of the slump on the road in Atlanta against the team that's won 3 of 4. You know what I mean? It's just hard for me to sit here and say that with a straight face.
Right.
The thing, and plus, what do the Panthers do well? They get after the quarterback. I just told you in the last 4 games, Matt Ryan's been sacked one every 32, almost 33 pass attempts. So maybe they get him once. If they get him 3 times, I think that's when Matt Ryan starts to do, dumb shit. like I think that's when he starts to, he'll make the panicky kind of plays.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I do think that the Panthers match up decently in terms of their secondary against the Falcons' receiving core. That could lead to some coverage sacks. Who knows? But all in all, I think that now, I will say this could be a get-right game for Sam Darnold. Like, the Falcons' defense
I don't see it.
Isn't a defense that you look at and just get like, wow, that's a good – they're not. They're not very talented.
I mean, if he's seeing ghosts right now, they're playing on Halloween. He's definitely be seeing ghosts on Sunday.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine? Yeah, so I kind of want to say the Panthers, but I'm going to be objective. I think the Falcons win this game, and I think they do it because Matt Ryan's extremely efficient. I don't think it's going to be a bunch of big plays. I think he's going to take what is given to him, get the ball out.
I think Kyle Pitts is going to eat in this one.
Yeah, he's been going crazy
lately.
He
has. I think he's got the last 2 games, and he's got over 100 receiving yards, right?
Yeah, he had 170. Yeah, he had 170 or something last week or whatever it was. Crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, he's obviously starting to settle in this offense, and I think he has another big game this weekend.
What's the final score in your opinion? What do you like?
What's the over/under?
It is 46.5.
I'm gonna go. What's the spread? 3?
Falcons by 3. Yeah, Falcons favored by 3.
So I'm gonna go if Sam Darnold keeps playing like Sam Darnold, it's gonna be a rough day. I think it's gonna be 24-13.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you like the Falcons to win comfortably?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
At home.
I'm taking
coming off bye.
Yeah. Are they coming off bye? No, they had a bye 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
they're coming off the Dolphins with a game where they won. But I'm taking Atlanta to win also. I think they're going to win, let's say, 23-20. So they don't necessarily cover. It's a push there, and I do like the under in this game. I just think that, the Panthers match up well enough with them in terms of like their defense against the Falcons' offense to limit the points. But I also don't think that the Panthers can be trusted to score more than 20. You know what I mean? So that's
especially with the play of Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's been awful.
C-Mac being out obviously doesn't help their cause.
Right. And okay, so where we at now? Dolphins at the Bills. Woo! So Buffalo's a 14-point favorite. This is what I meant earlier when I said this could be a week.
Didn't they shut him out a few weeks ago?
Oh yeah, they beat him 35-0 a couple weeks ago, and that was a game that Tua got hurt in early. But Buffalo in this game, 14-point favorites, over under 48.5. Seemed high to me.
Well, the Bills are going to put up 40 themselves if history repeats itself.
Maybe. Josh Allen in that game struggled, and this is the reason why I say I answer like that. He was 17 of 33, right? So barely over 50%. Threw for 179, 5.4 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's what he did against the Miami Dolphins in week, I think it was 2. Right, Devin Singletary had a pretty good game, had 82 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Jacoby Brissett came in and took over for an injured Tua. By the way, when Tua was playing in that one, he went 1 of 14 for 13 yards and a sack. And then Jacoby Brissett came in there, went 24 of 40 for 169, 1 interception and 4 sacks. So 5 sacks on 44 pass attempts for the Bills defense against this Miami offense. You would have to imagine, and you would just have to, right, that the Dolphins are going to come out with a better plan offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not going to let the Bills defense just completely dominate them again, right? But
right. Well, Tua's got to play well in this one for them to even have a chance.
And he has been doing that lately. He's been playing pretty well.
Yeah, he has.
So Buffalo's coming off a bye, and they're also coming off of a loss, right? They blew the game against the Titans. Mm-hmm. And a game that they were in pretty much full control of from start to almost finish. And that's what happens when you play against the Titans, are a team that's just not going to quit. So if you don't finish them for real, you might blow those kinds of games. Miami scores the 4th fewest points per game. Buffalo allows the fewest points per game. And oh, by the way, Buffalo scores the 2nd most points per game at almost 34 a game. Right? So, I mean, I guess I do like the over in this one. I think the Bills are going to win at 34-17.
I'm going. Yeah. I don't think the Dolphins get more than 17. That was my pick for them, but I think the Bills go 40.
40-17.
Yeah.
Just complete domination.
Domination.
That would mean, by the way,
at home, coming off bye.
Yeah. If we go by your prediction, that would mean the Bills in 8 quarters of play against the Dolphins won 75-17. That would be the final score in those 2 games combined.
Which is very doable.
Very doable. I mean, I think that it's at least going to be close to that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the Dolphins score 20, but I don't see them scoring any more than that.
Yeah. There's not much to say about this one other than the Bills are going to put a beat down on the Dolphins.
It's going to be, I think, a pretty comfortable victory.
Yep.
Okay. Patriots at Chargers. This is fun.
This is fun.
Last year, the Chargers got smoked by this Patriots team in a game where Cam Newton had like 69 yards passing. They got beat 45-0 by the Patriots in that game. Okay, that's alarming, right? Because what's different this year? First of all, Justin Herbert's not a rookie anymore. Okay, that's the first thing I can think of that's different. The second thing is there's no Cam Newton. Instead, we got Mac Jones, and the Patriots have a much better overall offense in terms of skill players and even offensive line. The Chargers are 4.5-point favorites in this game, okay? The over-under, 49.5. If I told you the New England Patriots were 12th in the NFL in scoring, would you believe me?
No.
Well, they are. They've scored the 12th most points in the NFL. You know, the Chargers, obviously, we know they can put up points, even though they didn't do so against the Ravens before their bye week last week. But it's going to be interesting to see what coaching adjustments, because this wasn't the same coaching staff in L.A., obviously, last year is what they are now.
Right.
So that is one thing. How does Belichick attack them, you know, in terms of what does Belichick change, if anything, about how he beat them down? And remember, his defense dominated that game, and his special teams had the return touchdown. Cam Newton had 2 rushing touchdowns. It was just like, you know, Cam didn't really throw the ball very often. It was just complete, just physical football, win with defense and a run game, etc. Mm-hmm. So I think that we'll see a same type of thing because the Chargers have one of the worst run defenses in football, you know?
Yeah.
So I think the Patriots are definitely going to try to exploit that again. And when they pass the football, I think we'll see some more of the quick game from Mac Jones. And I think Mac will be accurate, and he'll make, for the most part, pretty good decisions with that quick game.
Yeah, I think Mac Jones has another little 200-yard, couple touchdowns game. I think it's more of a ground and pound. Damian Harris, he, from what I read yesterday, he will be the first New England running back since Corey Dillon.
Wow. To
record 3 straight 100-yard games if he does it this week.
And he has a prime matchup to do so. So that's wow, that's interesting.
LA's surrendering a league worst 162 rush yards per game.
That's just atrocious, man. That's rough.
So this one could be an upset spot too. Honestly, I mean, The Chargers lost their last game. They got walloped.
Yeah.
So coming off bye though, I mean, is Eckler out in this one?
He might be.
Yeah, I think
He might be. And that's obviously big.
that's huge for them.
Herbert last year against the Patriots was 26 of 53. That's less than 50% completion percentage. 209 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, passer rating of 43.7. He was sacked 3 times. Yards per attempt, 3.94. 3.94. So basically 4 yards per pass attempt. That's pretty rough day at the office, right? Under 4 yards to be exact. But I think my estimation for this game is I think that the Chargers are going to normally I would say let's run the ball, right? Let's not allow the Patriot defense to make us one-dimensional. But in this case, I'm going to say look what Dak Prescott did to them a few weeks ago, right? Maybe our quarterback is ready to put us on his back. Maybe we should attack them through the air.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they have the kid Jones, I believe, is injured in New England. Maybe I don't know if he's missing this game, but he was banged up last week. And so I think Herbert is going to bounce back in a big way. I think at least from a statistical standpoint, I think Justin Herbert goes in there, completes about 65% of his passes, and I think he throws for 300. That said,
You're taking the Chargers.
I'm taking the Patriots to win.
Okay.
I like the Patriots to win in 27-24. I think that win against the Jets last week was one that's going to really propel them. And like the way Belichick just kept his foot on the gas pedal, and they routinely beat up on the Jets, so that's not the impressive thing. But the impressive thing is that I think Belichick was trying to generate some momentum. I think wins like that bring your team very close together. And it wasn't a win in the way the Titans are coming off of like these wins against the Chiefs, right, where it's just such an emotional high. It was like, yeah, we thought we'd beat the Jets. We did beat the Jets, but man, that was a lot of fun. And you have fun together, you start to love your teammates more, and that brotherhood bond is stronger and stronger. I think they're going to go in there and beat the Chargers. And I think Belichick's sitting there looking at this like, we beat you 45-0 on this field or in this place last year in LA. And now you're the favorites over us? Like, I don't know about that. I mean, it's a little bit foolish in my opinion, but I get why that's the case. I'm taking the Patriots 27-24.
I'm taking the Chargers 31-27.
Okay, I feel that. And what did I say the over-under was? Let me double-check that. It is, I think
50?
it's like 49.5. Yeah, 49.5. Okay. So, where am I? Is that the – yeah, so that's the over. And I think both of us over.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Where are we at?
Jaguars. Seahawks.
So the Jags coming off the bye week, in a week in which they did not experience a loss. I mean, only the second time that's happened for them this year. And before the bye week, they went into London, I believe it was, and kicked the game-winning field goal against the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
That kicker, by the way, we need to shine the light on him because he did a damn good job. He hit the 50-yarder, I think, to tie it, right? And then the 50-yarder to win it. Or something like that.
Yeah, he had a hell of a game.
It was, two clutch kicks. And that has been a team that has really struggled with field goals on the season. But the Seahawks are 3.5-point favorites in this game in Seattle, by the way. Over-under is 44. So how does my guy Trevor Lawrence compete? How does he fare against the Seattle Seahawks? What do you think, Lay?
Well, I think he continues to improve.
Yeah.
Honestly, I believe in the Trevor Lawrence hype or whatever you want to call it at this point.
You're a fan.
Yeah, I like Trevor. I think he's a smart kid. It's obviously he's not going to come in and just dominate the NFL, and it's proven to not to.
Yeah,
but I think he is a quarterback that is also willing to learn, willing to put in the work to get better, and in turn, I think he will continue to improve. And I like him to go for 300 pass yards in this game. So
you like him to go for 300, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
On the road in Seattle.
And keep in mind, Jameis Winston against this, who knows, maybe new and improved Seattle defense because they only allowed 13 to the Saints. Jameis was 19 of 35 last week. That's 54.3%, 222 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks.
Yeah, but
just 6.3 yards a pass attempt.
Jameis also has a streaky record as far as having 500 touchdowns one game and then 100 the next. So,
but this year he's been a different guy.
Yeah, I mean he's obviously
LASIK, baby.
Yeah, he's obviously a lot more efficient.
I mean, look, Jameis has only thrown the ball more than 30 times once, and that was last week. He's thrown the ball
because they don't want him to.
Yeah, and that's smart. I mean, look, dude. Jameis has on the season. Let me see, 13 touchdown passes to 3 interceptions. That right there is winning football.
How many did he have last year?
He didn't play last year for
2
the
years
most
ago?
part, but 2 years ago he had
35?
30.
Jesus.
And I think he had 10 fumbles too, so it was something crazy like that. But anyways, he had 30 picks. This year, what is he on pace for? He's on pace for 8 or, maybe 9 because it's a 17-game season. But that's a fucking great season for Jameis Winston.
I don't even know how we got on Jameis Winston in this one.
Well, I was looking at what happened to the Seattle defense last week because you
Right.
said Trevor's going to go for 300. I said Jameis went for 220. And, look, here's the thing. It may happen, but if Trevor does anything, what I think Trevor will have success doing, and I think that after the bye week, is something I've been calling for the entire season, by the way, run the motherfucker. Trevor Lawrence gallops.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's a 6'6". Like, he can run. He's quick. He's Cam Newton was a great runner, obviously, right, for his entire career. Still is if he wants to play, if he ends up playing it again. But the point is, Trevor Lawrence is, in my opinion, because he's more lean cut than Cam was even as a rookie, he is quicker. You know what I mean? So he's not a guy that's going to run you over the way Cam would, but he's very quick in terms of, like, he's going to be more like a Kyler Murray small guy quickness, not as quick as Kyler. Relax. I know some people are going, he's not as quick as Kyler. I know, but the point is he's quick, right? So if you design some plays to get him on the move and then have a little option like, hey, if you've got green grass, just take it.
Right.
Be decisive. Run the fucking ball. If he does that, I think that he could have a really successful day against the Seattle defense because Jameis ran 8 times for 40 yards last week. However, if you want to drop back and pass against Pete Carroll in that loud-ass Seattle stadium that you and I personally witnessed one day a few years ago, I don't think he's going to have a good game at all. I think he's going to have a very hard day at the office. I think Seattle is desperate for a win because Pete Carroll is all about competing and never quitting.
Yeah, they've lost 3 straight, right?
4, I believe. Let me see. But the point is, they've lost a few games in a row. They're in a division that, they'd have to basically win out to even have a chance at winning their division. They probably still wouldn't. But they have lost 3 in a row. You're right. And in those 3, the last 2 of them, they lost by just 3 points, right? One of them was a heartbreaker in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. I think the Seattle Seahawks win this game, Josh. That's just my opinion. I think they win it 24. No, I'll say 23-17 Seattle.
I'm going 23-17 Jags.
Wow. How did I know you were going to do it? You're nuts. You're a madman. Okay. Well, you heard it here first, folks. He's picking the Jags to go into Seattle
to get their second win in a row on the road.
So just to let it be known like this.
On the opposite side of the country.
You're taking Urban Meyer to go into Pete Carroll's house and beat Pete Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking Pete. All right, let's go. Moving right along.
Washington Broncos. What a boring game this one's going to be.
Hey, actually, Washington's been scoring 30 a game, it feels like. They've been allowing – Washington, I believe, allows the most points per game in the NFL. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that? That's crazy. And do you know last week, Washington, even though they didn't score a bunch of points against Green Bay, they didn't punt. They didn't punt the football once, right?
Really? That's impressive.
Yeah, and Heineke had damn near 100 yards rushing. So it was a good game. Of course, they had 4 different possessions that they didn't come up with points in the red zone, and obviously that was the difference in the game. They only scored 10 points. So
Jared Judy's back in this one too. So
that's right.
It's gonna be a bright spot for the Broncos.
That's definitely going to help because to me, he's their second best receiver after Cortland Sutton.
Absolutely. And he's, could potentially be one of the best receivers in the NFL in a few years.
Best slot receivers.
Yeah, in a few years, obviously.
You guys remember, I was not a big Jerry Jeudy guy as a top 10 player.
Well, he's no Devontae Smith.
Well, he's not. A lot of people had him as Jerry Jeudy's a top 10 player in the draft, top 5 player in the draft. That was
he's super
crazy
talented
to me. he's not super talented to me. He's a really good player. He's a very good route runner. He's not a guy that's dynamic and explosive. Like, he's not a guy that will ever be like Tyreek Hill or, to me, even like a Devontae Adams, where he has the ball skills. What he will be is a Pro Bowl level slot receiver. A guy that can get quick separation. It's going to usually catch everything that comes his way if he gets his hands on it, and is going to be a good player. I don't think he's a dynamic talent. I think he's a very, very good player, though. I think Cortland Sutton, on the other hand, is a dynamic talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, just having him back is going to be
huge.
good.
It's definitely huge.
I think it opens a lot more up for the Broncos.
Absolutely.
They have a lot more, places to throw the ball. It's going to open up the run game a little bit, possibly. They won't be stacking the box, but
no, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how well he plays in his first game back, but I mean, I'm taking.
Oh, what's the spread in this game?
I'm taking the Broncos.
You like Denver, huh? They've lost 4 straight.
They have.
After
and they're at home.
3-0.
They're at home. I don't know.
They're 3-point favorites. The Broncos are, and the over/under is 44.5. By the way.
So I don't think they cover. I think it's like a 21-20.
Okay.
Something like that. 21-17. Broncos.
Okay. Well, that would be them covering, but that's okay. Okay. So I am going to say the Washington football team going there and get that win. I like them, man. And I'm a homer for Ron Rivera, as you guys know. Probably.
Yes, we know.
But look, I just think 2 reasons. Number one, I think they have a quarterback that's playing better. I think they have the better quarterback right now. Even though Heineke only mustered 10 points against Green Bay and 13 against Kansas City, I think that was in part because, well, first of all, he played a really good game last week against the Packers. I started him in fantasy. I was very happy. I would have been even more happy if that damn touchdown run would have counted like I think it should have, but that's besides the point. Anyways, Heineke, to me, is a more dynamic player than Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater is probably a more consistent player, but I think Heineke has a better arm than Teddy. I think he's a better runner for sure than Teddy is. And ironically, these guys were both, Heineke was on the Panthers. We just let him walk or cut him or whatever. And then Teddy was was the answer. And I'm sitting here, just my honest opinion, telling you that I think Heineke's better player. I think he's a little bit better.
Than Teddy Two Gloves?
Than Teddy Two Gloves, yeah. And I think that Teddy definitely has more help around him in Denver, especially now with Judy back.
Yeah.
But I do like what Heineke's got going there in Washington. I do like that for the most part they've been able to score. Let me just read you. So after week 1 is when Heineke only came in for part of week 1. So week 2 they scored 30 points. Week 3 against the Bills they got to 21, which is impressive because not many teams get to even that much on the Bills, who only allow 16 a game. Then they went into Atlanta, scored 34, scored 22 against the Saints, which is a pretty impressive amount. And then the last 2 games, they've been disappointing. But like I mentioned last week against the Packers, they didn't punt, and then they only scored 10 points. But then the week before against Kansas City, they only scored 13. But that was a good game by the Chiefs, by the way, and just sometimes that happens.
I just think the Washington football team is reeling right now.
They definitely are.
Yeah.
But I think Denver's lost 4 straight, and I think they're definitely reeling. Washington football team's lost 3 straight. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. This is going to be a boring one.
But check this out. Washington has played the Saints, the Chiefs, and the Packers in the last 3. That's their 3 losses in a row.
Yeah.
And that's okay in my opinion because they are playing a Denver team that has lost some. I think they've lost some tougher games as well. But last week they played the Case Keenum-led Browns, and they got pretty much handled from start to finish. Teddy could only muster 14 points. They were talking about benching him at halftime. He came out and had a pretty decent second half. The week before that, they got beat up pretty good by the Raiders. The week before that, the Steelers. The week before that, the Ravens. But there have been reports in coming out of Denver via Benjamin Albright, who is, to me, probably the more reliable, maybe the most reliable Denver insider over there. And he's saying that he didn't say he heard it directly, but he said that some people, maybe in the organization or at least close by the organization, believe that the coaching staff is losing the locker room. And I think if that were the reason why, it'd be because they've got this guy Drew Lock on the practice field, and when the ball comes out of Lock's hands, it's an absolute bazooka. Whereas when it comes out of Teddy's, it's a floater for 20. He just doesn't have the physical talent Drew Lock has, and lately Teddy Bridgewater is a guy that most people say, oh well, Teddy doesn't throw interceptions. Teddy's thrown 5 picks in his last 3 games, a la Sam Darnold. Okay, so I'm gonna take. Yes, the Washington football team on the road to go into Denver and get a win 27-20 Washington.
Over, under, Jerry Jeudy has 100 receiving yards.
Under. I think he's got 6 for 80.
Okay.
I'm just throwing that out there. All right. But you like the Broncos, right? Oh, you already said.
Yeah, I like the Broncos.
All right. Let's do Buccaneers at the Saints. So the Jameis Winston revenge game. Here we are upon us.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be much of a revenge.
We've been waiting.
The Bucs are going to go in there and take care of business.
We've been waiting for the for the New Orleans Saints to unleash the real Jameis Winston. Will the real Jameis Winston please stand up? We've been waiting for it, and I think it's going to come this week, baby. Let's go. The Saints are 5-point underdogs at home in the Dome to these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The over-under in this one is 49.5. I'm going to tell you right now, Jameis Winston, say what you want to say about him. The dude is highly competitive.
Right, of course.
The dude is going to come out and put it all out there this week.
He's going to eat a W.
He might just eat that W.
No,
he's gonna go out there, and I'm telling you right now, the motherfucker's gonna put it all on the line. He's gonna give you everything he has in this game, and I think Sean Payton is gonna let him a little bit. I think he's gonna allow him to be a little bit more risky. Why? You can't run the football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers unless you're Khalil Herbert. Mm-hmm. Ironically enough, right? The 7th round draft pick from this year, but you can't run against the Bucs. Okay?
Right.
What does that mean? You got to throw it. How are we going to beat the Bucs? Jameis Winston is going to go completely bonkers.
Think he's going to throw for 350 over under?
I think he's going to have 350 yards.
Wow.
I think Jameis Winston's a fucking hell of a streamer. If your quarterback's on bye this week, I might just go pick him up in every league so that by the time you guys watch this, you're going to be like, damn, that motherfucker got him. But anyways, I just think that if it works out so perfectly for for New Orleans to they've really not been allowing Jameis to throw the ball a whole lot. Let me just go like this. It's been trending up in terms of pass attempts, though. Here it goes. Week 1, he threw 20. Week 2, he threw the ball 22 times, then 21, then 23, then 30, then 35 last week.
Oh God, he's going for over 40.
Yeah, he's going to throw the ball 40 times.
He's got to manage his emotions. We know that Jameis Winston's a very emotional dude.
But he's also
he's got to be able to keep him under wraps, especially in this game against.
I think he will, because here's the thing: for damn near half a season now, the Saints have played it very slow with him in terms of like what they're asking of him, and and I think that they've inched it up, and now we're against Tampa. And Jameis wants to win this game. It's in New Orleans, so he'll have the fan support there. Mm-hmm. And the only way you can beat Tampa defense or against their defense, the only way to really have success against them is to throw the ball. I think the Saints will do a decent job protecting Jameis, and I think Jameis will do his thing. However, I like the Bucs to win the game.
Of course.
I think the Saints cover. I'm taking the Saints. I'm taking the Bucs 34, Saints 30.
But I don't think it's going to be a shellacking that the Bucs have put on everybody else, because the Saints rank 8th in total defense. So, I mean, I think it's going to be closer than some of these games have been with the Bucs. Obviously, them just beating the brakes off everybody.
Yeah.
I think it's obviously going to be a little closer. But, yeah, I'm taking the Bucs in this one. I know Jameis Winston's probably going to get his this week. Mm-hmm. And then obviously Alvin Kamara is going to do his thing, probably through the air, as you said. Yeah. No one can run on the Bucs. I think Alvin Kamara has 10 receptions in this one, to go along with the 40 passes that Jameis is going to throw. But I like the Buccaneers in this one. I'm going to go 35-24.
I like it. Well, that's so you like them to cover. I don't. I think it's going to be 34-30. I think it's going to be a close game. It might even be like 27-24 because the defenses are a little better than we think. But I think Jameis goes for at least 300. I think Tom Brady on the other end of this, talk about a competitor. Tom Brady is not going to let Jameis Winston beat him.
I think
he's going to.
Tom Brady's not going to let anybody beat him.
Most people would be like, oh, I don't really care about that. Like Tom Brady's going to be like, nah, man. Tom Brady's going to take this shit very personally, and he's going to go out there and especially if he sees Jameis playing well, he's going to respond in a big way, in my opinion. So,
breaking news, 10 minutes ago, Antonio Brown is out again for Week 8. I think he's got a pretty bad injury. I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon, but with him out, obviously Godwin and Evans are both, solid.
This week, Godwin for sure.
Wide receiver 2.
Mike Evans is going to have his hands full with Lattimore. Anyways, let's keep going. Dallas Cowboys visiting the Minnesota Vikings. So the Cowboys right now.
Well, before we get into the game, we don't even know if Dak Prescott's going to play in this one.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Look, I think Vegas is telling us something. The Vikings are 2.5-point favorites as of now.
Well, do they know something we don't?
They must. They must feel like, here's what it is. They're not going to put a line as if Dak Prescott's playing because if he doesn't, they're going to get their asses reamed, right? So they're trying to cover their bases right now and just do the line as if Dak's not playing.
Right.
Okay, the over-under is 53. So that means if they're doing this line without Dak playing, they somehow think that
it's still going to be a shootout?
Yeah. So in my opinion, the Vikings defense, and I've been on this for a while now, you guys know, I think the Vikings defense has been playing really good football as of late, and I don't think anybody realizes it because in the first 2 weeks they gave up almost 60 points. But ever since then, they gave up actually 61 points. Ever since then, Week 3, they gave up 17 to Russell Wilson in Seattle. Week 4, they gave up 14 to Cleveland. Okay, those are two good teams, two good offenses. Week 5, they gave up 17 points. In Week 6, they gave up 28 to the Panthers, but that wasn't a real giving up 28. It was a block punt and a forced fumble. Like, it was realistically, they gave up about 14 points. You know what I mean? Maybe call it 17 in reality, in retrospect.
Right.
But to me, the first thing that jumps out at me about this game is I love the under because even if Dak plays, 53 to me feels,
but this game could also be 35-31.
It definitely could. It definitely could.
The Cowboys, assuming Dak plays, they're going to score points, and the only way that the Vikings are going to win is score more. So
right. But my point is this, bro. Look, 17-14, 17-28. Okay, what's so 34, 48. 68 plus. So the Vikings are basically giving up 22 points a game, 21 and change points a game over the last 4 games. And then they just had their bye week, right? So now Mike Zimmer is a defensive coach. He wants to play good defense. And so I think that's kind of like, I don't know, that's my rationale on it. They've been able to get a good pass rush. If Dak doesn't play, I'm smashing the under here. If Dak does play, I might take the under. Let's just put it like that, okay? But let's just assume for this breakdown's sake that Dak does play. I think we're gonna have a close game here.
It's gonna be close, really, but I'm still taking the boys, obviously.
Yeah, I would probably still take the Cowboys too, but I think that Minnesota is a team now 3-3, right, on the year. They're coming off a bye week. Mike Zimmer used to be the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys before he got his job at Mini. And so I think Minnesota is going to come out as desperate can be. And I think they have to because they're a team that's going to be, in my opinion, a fringe playoff team. And they know that they have to win games. Like, they can't go below 500 and then be a 500 team and expect to make it. Even with 7 teams making it, they can't do that. Not this year. The NFC is there's too many very good teams. I think there's 6 teams with 2 losses or fewer in the NFC. So, it's not going to be easy. So they got to win. Dallas, I've been saying this for weeks, the one way you want to attack them is on the ground. Minnesota, that is what they do. They're going to challenge you on the ground. So that's an interesting dynamic to this game is can the Dallas Cowboys stop the run of Dalvin Cook or however the Vikings decide to attack you? And it should be a little bit more healthy Dalvin Cook now. You know what? I'm feeling an upset. Make your pick, then I'll make mine. Make yours first, please.
I already have. Cowboys 35-31.
Okay. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to take them to win this
Sunday
game.
night?
I'm going to take them to win this
On the
game.
road?
28-24. Dak has the ball with 52 seconds left. He goes down, brings them all the way down. They fail to convert a 4th and 6. Vikings win.
I'm going the boys, obviously.
I'm not betting on it. I'm just having some fun. I like the Vikings. I think they're going to come out very much with a great game plan, desperate. Both these teams are coming off a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that makes it even better just from the standpoint of, like, I wish they would do that for every time this happened. Like, at least, like, the Steelers-Browns game, how that's coming off of – the Browns are coming off a mini bye. And then,
right.
Anyways, let's move on to the New York Football Giants on Monday Night Football going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, the Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites, over under 52.5.
Yeah, this is going to be a get right game for the Chiefs. I think Mahomes dominates in this one at home Monday night. I think he's just going to show out. Obviously, when the Giants are not a great football team. Is Saquon back in this one?
He might be. Him, Galladay, and Tony are all questionable.
Okay. If all three of those guys are back, though, they're going to have a potent offense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we know how bad KC's defense has been this year. So there's a potential. I mean, I'm starting Dan Jones this week as a streamer.
Yeah. Smart move.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know, like I said, KC's the worst defense in the league right now, historically bad, and I think Daniel Jones has a bright spot to, especially if he gets all his weapons back, especially with Tony and Saquon. He has the potential to go nuts this week. Obviously, they're going to have to with KC being at home, and they're gonna dominate on. Well, I won't say both sides of the ball. They're going to dominate on offense. We know that for a fact. So
maybe. Look.
Well, yeah. Okay, we don't know that for a fact because obviously if they've been playing like they have essentially all year, they've had one big blowout, and that's when who'd they beat?
The Eagles by 2 scores.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like it might be
in Washington too.
Yeah.
They handled them by I think 2 scores as well.
I feel like that's going to be another one of those games in this one, and the Chiefs get back to what they do. I will take Mahomes throwing another pick in this one.
Wow.
Just following the trend. Obviously,
remember this. Daniel Jones, your fantasy quarterback, last time he had those guys you mentioned all on the field together, he went 28 of 40, so it's 70% completion, 402 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, which wasn't his fault. It was just a Hail Mary deep ball.
It's amazing
he
how
averaged 10 yards per pass attempt, which is the most he's averaged this season. And I think that, I don't know, man. I think this could be a really fun game. I think even if we get the majority of those guys playing instead of just questionable, I think the Giants are going to be competitive in this game.
Right. Especially, it's funny how an offense can go from bad to pretty damn good with just 2 players, because they're game changers. Obviously, Tony is extremely talented, and we know what Saquon Barkley can do. So.
I mean, you're talking about Tony, Shepard, Galladay, Saquon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are, like, if you just get back Galladay and Saquon or Tony and Saquon, I mean, that's huge. But I'll tell you what, the Chiefs last week against the Titans, by example, held Derrick Henry to fewer than 3 yards per carry. So the run defense, by the way, against Antonio Gibson a few weeks ago, they held him in check. So the run defense has been much better as of late. I'm trying to go to, let me see, yards per rush attempt. The Chiefs over the last 3 weeks, what have they done in terms of yards per carry allowed? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6th best run defense in the NFL over the last 3 weeks from yards per carry standpoint. So that alone should I don't see Saquon going crazy on the ground if he comes in. I think that it would definitely be a help to have him because you can throw the ball to him as well if you're under pressure, if you're Daniel Jones. But I think that, if they just get 2 of their receivers back and no Saquon, I think they're going to be in a position to score some points. I just think that ultimately the Kansas City Chiefs will outscore them. I think they win a very close game. I say 30-27 Chiefs.
I'm going 34-20 Chiefs.
34-20.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you like the Chiefs to cover. I like the Giants to cover.
What is it, 10?
And we both like we both like the over. It's 9.5.
9.5. Okay. Yeah. So Chiefs get back to being the Chiefs in this one. So I'm taking them all day, especially at home.
Cool.
And that's one stadium that we should go to.
Yeah. Eventually, I'm down.
I mean, obviously, that's one of my bucket list items is to hit every NFL stadium in the nation. And I've heard great things about KC.
Yeah, it's one of the louder places.
Yeah, and we've been to Seattle, and so it's like I kind of want to like compare and contrast the two because it would just be awesome. I wish I could go to the Cowboys Chiefs game. What is that? The weekend after, or the weekend before?
Is that in
Thanksgiving?
Dallas?
No, it's in KC.
Oh, if that was in Dallas, we definitely would have went.
Right, but I'm talking about going to see KC in KC. I mean, it's only like an 8-hour drive.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not doing that, but not right now. I just got too much shit going on. But, yeah, it is in KC. Okay.
Yep.
Well, the next Dallas game we should go to, maybe we should go to a Dallas game this year. We'll figure that out later. But anyways, guys, we appreciate you for listening. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and
comment.
Drop a comment.
Yeah, drop a comment about your favorite matchup this week. Tell us who you like in fantasy. Obviously, also drop your start sits because we're going to be doing start sit in our next episode. So be sure to get your questions in so you can get your lineups ready for Sunday because we have another exciting week. Obviously, that's the one thing I love about the NFL is you got a whole week to prepare, to hype up the games. It's unlike any other sport where, you pay fucking 1,000 games in a season and it's just like repetitive shit. But that's, it's football, baby. Let's go. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.